Good morning, I'm Carl. Welcome to Coffee with the Garden Club. Today I am continuing to talk about plants that you can buy from the supermarket that you will be able to either gather seeds from or use as starting material for propagation in your garden this spring. It's been a bit of a challenge ordering seeds online this year, and so I know a lot of people are concerned about whether or not they're going to be able to get seeds for their garden in the upcoming season, and that's a valid concern. So we need to start looking at other options for getting seeds and getting plants for our gardens. Today, I would like to talk about the humble potato. Now, potatoes from the supermarket are not always appropriate for planting in your garden. Quite often they are treated with something that will slow down the budding process so you won't get the sprouts off of your potatoes that you need in order to start them in your garden. You want to make sure that you get several different kinds of potatoes, and you want to make sure that you get potatoes that are organic and hopefully untreated with anything that will stop them from budding. So that's why you want a wide variety. You also might want to help stimulate them a little bit to create buds. And so I'll tell you a secret way to do that in a minute. But what you want to do is you go to your supermarket and you look for organic potatoes. Now, every potato, you can figure you can get at least 2 potato plants off of that, sometimes 4 or even 5. But the more potato you leave on with your sprout, the stronger start that sprout is going to have. So you go to the store, you buy your potatoes, you come back, and now how are you going to get these things sprouted? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to take an onion, you're going to put it in the bag with your potatoes. You put it in a paper bag, close it up, put it in a dark spot. And then check it over the course of the next couple weeks. You don't want any rotting, so if anything seems to start rotting, then that's going to be a problem. And when you start to see sprouts, then you can take these out of the bag. You don't want to leave them in there. You want to take them out when you start to see the sprouts and put them on a windowsill. Now, many people think that if they have scraggly potatoes with all these long sprouts coming out, that's what you want to be planting. Ideally, that is not. Ideally, you would like shorter, stubbier, greener sprouts that you will get if you put this potato on your windowsill. So you don't want to leave it in the bag too long. You don't want it to get long and scraggly. You want those shorter, tougher, sun-drenched sprouts, and that's ideal for planting in your garden. Once you have cut your potatoes into sections, don't just run out into the garden and plant them. Set them on a baking sheet or some other dry surface and let them dry up and kind of form a skin over the section that you have cut. If you don't do that, they're much more susceptible to disease once they get into the ground. So each of these pieces of potato will grow into its own potato plant. It will have underneath the ground little potatoes growing off of it. Sometimes they grow kind of close to the surface. And this is why people talk about mounding over potatoes. You may want to add a little bit more soil to your space, your garden around the potato plant during the season, so that if these tubers form close to the surface, they don't get exposed to sunlight. You might also want to use mulch, and that's a good way to keep them from getting exposed to sunlight too. Some people plant potatoes in all kinds of crazy devices like towers and bags, and if that works for you, that's great. I haven't had a whole lot of luck with the gimmicky stuff, and I also haven't had much luck mounding and mounding and mounding and mounding, trying to create more potatoes off of my potato plants. My best potatoes have come when I have planted them, mulched over them, and nearly entirely left them alone after that, except to check to make sure that the potatoes weren't too close to the soil, and maybe adding a little bit more mulch over that or a little more soil, depending. That's been when I've gotten the best potatoes, when I've just left them alone. Every time I try one of those gimmicky things, I try a tower, or I try a bag, or I try any kind of containerized situation, my potatoes just don't do as well. So I would suggest, if you have soil, plant them in the soil. Don't go with the gimmicky stuff. If you have to plant them in something that is not just directly in the garden, you want to give them as large a container as possible. Or build a raised bed and plant them in your raised bed, and you will probably have better luck than in a small container. I would also suggest give the plants a little support. Don't overly mound up the potato plant. It's just not necessary. It's a lot of extra work, and I've just never seen any results from that. I have a theory about that, and it's possibly not correct, but my theory is that each of the leaves on any plant is a solar collector. The leaves collect energy from the sun and push it down and store it in the potatoes. Now, if you are constantly covering up those solar panels that the plant is trying to produce, the plant's going to expend more energy trying to put out more leaves to collect the sunlight. That energy is not going to be going down into the potatoes. And my guess is, and this is just like me using logic, which doesn't always work with plants, but me using logic. But if you're covering up all of the leaves every time it gets a little taller, you're not going to get as many potatoes or as large potatoes by the end of the season. But that is not substantiated. I haven't done anything to prove that. I've just felt that every time I've covered up the leaves, the plants have gotten sickly over time and just not produced that well. So, my experience, but it's not scientific fact. I hope you have good luck with your potatoes this year. I hope that you will find other creative ways of expanding your garden without having to search for seeds this year in 2021, when it's really going to be a challenge. But I will keep giving you more information about ways that you can save seeds and types of seeds and plants that you can propagate yourself from the supermarket. And I'll also be giving you some other strategies for getting seeds without even going to the supermarket, perhaps. In the meantime, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up underneath. Please leave a comment for me, or any questions you have. You can get in touch with me on my foodforestgardenclub.org website. There's a contact form there. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's at foodforestgardenclub. And I look forward to interacting with you. So, reach out. If you are in desperate need of some kind of seeds, let me know. I might be able to help you, or I might be able to give you ideas for that particular type of seed. So you don't have to wait for a video on it. So let me know too in the comments below, are there certain kinds of seeds that you're looking for, and you're looking for ways to get them for free this year or inexpensively? Or if you're wondering, does this plant work? Does that plant work? Please feel free to ask. I'll get back to you. I look forward to talking to you soon. All right, enjoy your coffee.